Hey guys, Fingermaster back here with our video for you today, and we're going to be taking another look at this Plymouth Reliant that I bought, pretty much sight unseen. And I've got some parts today. We got daylight today, and we have a little bit more tools at our disposal because it's daytime and I can be a little bit more loud. So, without further ado, welcome to the video. Got the engine bay, it's a little bit better. I took the pressure washer to this car the other day, and you know it's less unpleasant under the hood. I can say that much. But the exterior is still kind of rough. It didn't knock any paint off, really. At least I did get the underhood light working, but it's kind of useless in this situation because it's daytime. So where we left off last time, we had no spark at all, and I've got a bunch of ignition parts now. Along with a couple fuel parts that we can throw on here and see if it makes a difference. I'm going to start off with a cap and rotor and wires, and actually I'm going to do an ignition coil and the condenser that's over here as well, I think. We'll see how that goes. We'll just huck parts at it until it starts working, why not? That seems like the best idea because I know we've got no spark, and you know what? No spark means it gets sparky parts. So let's see here. That's cool. That just broke right in half. It doesn't matter. So, got some Pro Spark Platinum ignition wires. These came from a local auto parts store. These are 9102, I guess is the part number on those, if that helps anybody. That's a B. I got the standard motor parts cap for it, CH406 or C219P is the alternate number. Comes with the new screws, and then I have the intermotor version of the rotor as well, which is a JR80 apparently. This distributor, to be perfectly honest, does not look like it's in too fantastic of health, so I'm very suspicious of the igniter that's supposed to be in here. Jeez, come on. Oh, I don't think I've ever had such an uncooperative distributor cap. It seems like these screws are captive, so that's nice. So the firing order is 1342. Oh. Come on. Oh boy. Some weird looking wires on this. Look at that. It's got like blades on the end of it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Pretty crummy looking, and we're missing some points in there. That may be an issue for sure. And this rotor does not look the same, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. How am I gonna get it out of there is the next question. Maybe I'll have to bump the key. We'll bump the key then. Good enough. Maybe. No, not really. How far did that turn her? Not very. Okay, bump it a little bit further. Starter is sounding less and less healthy. To be honest, that doesn't seem like it's spinning at all. Pretty long. It better have put a little bit. It didn't. Uh-oh. That's concerning. I can turn the distributor by hand, like quite a lot. Like way, way more than I should be able to. Uh-oh. Yeah. That's like... Is that a timing belt that's off or something? Like gone? So we would definitely have a lack of spark from distributor not turning. That's really bad. Our wiper linkage is falling off, I can now see with all the crap out of the way. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls on this one, buddy. Alright, I've called around to a bunch of people who know a lot more about cars than I do, including someone who is a Dodge expert, who told me that the distributor is driven off the oil pump, which is driven off of an intermediate shaft that runs as a mechanical fuel pump that comes off the timing belt, and that he thinks the timing belt's broken. And out of the 5 people I called, 3 said the timing belt were broken, and 2 said the distributor was a point of failure. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the timing cover off now with the wrong tool, and we're going to hope and fingers crossed that the timing belt is off, because the timing belt's $10 and the distributor's $150. So I'll tell you what, I got another solution. We can pull the oil cap off and see if the cam spins when we turn the engine over. Alright, well that's a really fantastic sign. The cam didn't seem to be moving, no valves open when we turned the key, which would be a horrible, horrible sign for most cars. But this is a non-interference engine, as far as I'm aware. So that just means we need a timing belt, which is $10, and I've already got on order. It'll be here tomorrow. We can put on some new parts, you know, make ourselves feel a bit better about this. Some of the stuff that we are very aware is garbage. So, weirdo fuel filter. This has definitely been sitting on a shelf somewhere for a long time. A voltage regulator. New distributor cap. Plug wires. And indeed a coil. So, why not? Maybe I'll time lapse this and we'll see where it goes. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's very horrible back there. There's no wax in it anymore at all. It's all gone. It's all gone. If you haven't seen one of these before, you're about to. And prepare to be bewildered that they're supposed to be completely potted in wax, 100%. Old versus new there. Yeah. That's horrendously bad. Cool. Well, we'll be fixing an issue here. Voltage regulator is done. We can feel like we accomplished something today. I'm not worried about there being any fuel pressure because the pump is apparently not running because the timing belt's gone. It's not coming off at all, huh? We'll have to leave that like it is for now. Something that I do know was an issue is that the intake hose here is supposed to go to the ECM for air fuel metering. And you may notice that this open air is not the ECM. Sure, we'll call that on there. Battery, you can go in there again. This is the wrong battery, but it'll be alright. I was hoping to get more done, but it's getting dark pretty rapidly. However, I just realized, haha, the hood light works. That'll run that battery down pretty fast, but and possibly start a fire if there's still a short somewhere. That's alright. Do I really want to tackle the ignition coil in this darkness? Not really. So I think we'll stop there for the day. Jump cut. Here we are. It's night again. My assistant who helped me earlier today declined to be on video for personal reasons. I can respect that. So today we are going to be looking back at this car again. And earlier today we did some work to this car. And like I said, he declined video, so I can't show that. In fact, I didn't even record most of it. But we did plug wires. That was already something we'd done before. Cap and rotor. Put that cover back on. Retimed that. I think you might have saw me do the fuel pump already. Did an oil change. We got new rag cap, gas cap, and oil cap. Now, new air filter installed because the original one was still on there. It was still on its original accessory drive belts. We put 3 new ones on there and a new timing belt. We've got compression now. What we found out was this is the smog pump driven off of the opposite end of the camshaft for some reason, which is a stupid design. This had sucked something in at some point, locked up, and dragged on that belt until it broke the cam belt, and then it got parked. And you can see I broke a vacuum hose. Oops. Anyways, the ignition coil I bought turned out to be wrong. It won't physically fit that. I can't find where this wire goes, but I did find the other end of it, even though, like I said, no idea what it goes to, but I've got the service manual, so we should be okay on that. Did get 2 new tires, and you'll notice that they're both in the front because they're different size. I couldn't get this size. They're just non-existent. And we did put the hubcaps on it, even though those rear tires are still total garbage. I actually have new ones coming in soon. I got a key for the trunk, but the trunk doesn't open because the latch is broken. The lock turns, the trunk doesn't do anything. And I've tried every way of budging and shimmying it, and I can't get anything out of it. I've turned it over to make sure it wasn't locked up, and it's still turned over. It needs a fuel pump, I can tell you that right now, because that fuel pump is junk, and I'd like to drain the tank. So, the unfortunate issue is that this has a really long, snaking filler neck, and that's really hard to do, with a clacker pump, which is my setup here. Battery charger, computer, bucket that you can't really see, and clacker pump. The plan was to take this fuel pump off, put this down the filler neck, drain gas out of tank, and be happy. But I can't get the tube to go down the tank because the tube is so weird. So what I'm going to do is take this pump off, which I have to do anyways, and hopefully running this long enough on those fuel lines will drain the tank. And I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try it. And of course, instead of having a battery, I have my little charger here. There's our new fuel pump. There's some flare nut wrenches. Well, what say we get to it, huh? Let me get you set up on the ground. Maybe something like that. And we will pull that fuel pump off and we'll go from there. The first thing I'm going to do is attempt to disconnect those lines, which you do need a flare nut wrench for. Well, you don't need one, but it would really probably be best if you did have one. So I got one from my local auto parts store. We actually got 2. Because they're combination wrenches. They actually have 2 sizes on each wrench. And I figured that was probably a pretty good bet. Because now I have 4 different sizes of wrenches. And if all of them don't fit, I'm not going to take them back. I'm going to throw them in the toolbox, and I'm going to go use something else to take these off. Probably not a flare nut wrench, because I think these are the only 2 I have. I might have another duplicate of this one, but we'll see. The car was on stands earlier today, but we ran out of time. Had a bunch of stuff to get to. It looks like it's going to be a 13. Like all the other hardware on this car ever. I swear to you, it's all 13s. Chrysler did such an interesting job with this thing. Boy, that's a lot of dirt and dust under this car. My assistant who declined a video made the comment that it looked like this car had been off-roaded at more than one point in its life. That's one side. Oh, that's a lot of dirt. And a gasket. And a fuel pump covered in garbage. Almost guaranteed that this is the original fuel pump. Ugh. be very surprised if this car had a fuel pump in 40,000 miles. Oh, that's a pretty major coolant leak. What the heck? Alright, well, I did just pour some gas down the intake. There's a massive coolant leak that I definitely can't seem to fix right now. But we're gonna see if it fires up. Hey, that ran for a second, didn't it? That was something. That makes me happy that all my work hasn't been in vain so far. Bunch of two-stroke gas. Why don't we give it some of that, huh? It's got new plugs in it. It won't hurt it. I'm a little bit worried about my battery. Oh, that's all the coolant coming out of it. I think that's probably about the best we're going to get out of her today. Probably the best we're going to get out of her today. But that's running. Like, that's something now. I wouldn't call it good. I wouldn't even call it acceptable. I wouldn't even call it running. I would call that stuttering to life for a few moments. What it needs is more fuel. It's got a new fuel pump on it. I don't think it's picking anything up from the tank. There is gas in the tank. That's good now. So, give it one more try. Probably out of gas. What do you think? Well, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that fun? That fired up and ran for a few seconds, a couple times. All right, we're gonna go for transmission. Come on, you. Here's reverse. Oh, we are in motion. Here's drive. There's gears. We have power steering. We have power brakes. The only thing we don't have is AC. Out of gas. And no fuel pump. Well, I should say we have fuel pump. Well, let's start again. That was worth a shot. We're out of gas now, so I can't do anything more, but that means we have reverse and first and power steering now and power brakes. The only thing we don't have is instrument panel. We don't seem to have air conditioning. We have blower motor, but no AC. And it won't pick up fuel from the tank at all. This is like the 5th time it's run so far. I've gone through that entire can of True Fuel. But how cool is that?